Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up, Ghana's economy predicted to reach a gradual path to recovery in 2024, but lower than pre-pandemic average. We'll hear from senior analyst for Sub-Saharan Africa at Fitch Solutions, Mike Kuruninga.
And I do think it's probably fair to say that the worst is now behind Ghana. We have seen greater exchange rate stability over the past couple of months. Inflation is coming down.
We've got some analysis on that for you. Also in this bulletin, Ghana Free Zones Authority signs a €1.3 million grant agreement with GIZ to enhance the water and sewage system at the Tema Port processing zone.
We're looking at about 20,000 jobs because Ghana as a country, apart from industry, we also want to focus on services.
Bank of Ghana expresses concern about the involvement of bank staff involved in financial sector fraud despite a decline in the numbers.
Although the 2022 bank's SDI and PSP's fraud report showed a decline in staff involvement in fraud cases, the persistence of these unethical acts among employees of banks and SDIs remain a concern.
A news coming in, Parliament approves $800 million cocoa syndicated loan for Cocoa Board to purchase cocoa from cocoa farmers. We have details of these and many others coming your way all in a moment. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojobaka. Let's now look at our stories. And Fitch Solutions has reiterated that Ghana's economy will reach the gradual path to recovery in 2024. However, growth will remain below the trend of its pre-pandemic average of about 5%. The UK-based firm is projecting a gross domestic product growth of nearly 4% in 2024. It stated that a rapidly moderating inflation will support domestic demand in Ghana, whilst the cedi will cut back some losses on the debt restructuring deal. Mike Kuruninga is a senior analyst for Sub-Saharan Africa at Fitch Solutions and has been speaking on the latest Sub-Saharan Africa macroeconomic update.
And I do think it's probably fair to say that the worst is now behind Ghana. We have seen greater exchange rate stability over the past couple of months. Inflation is coming down. The government has implemented fiscal consolidation measures, and the authorities are in talks with commercial and official creditors to restructure a large chunk of the nation's external debt. However, the economic growth outlook for 2024 remains muted as we forecast real GDP to expand by 3.7% next year. And yes, this is better than the projected 3% in 2023, but still very much below Ghana's 2015-2019 average, which
All right, so let's get on Zoom and speak with economist Dr. Edu Ususakodia for more on that. Thanks so much, sir, for joining me on Business Live. Now, what are your initial reactions to this projection by Fitch Solutions and EIU on Ghana's economy predicted to reach a gradual path to recovery in 2024, but lower than the pre-pandemic average?
I think it's good news. It's refreshing to see that the economy is rebounding to its pre-pandemic levels. We have seen the efforts by government. First of all, the decision to seek a balance of payment support from the IMF and also some policy reforms. The government is also pursuing the debt exchange. They have completed the domestic debt exchange They are pursuing the external debt exchange. The idea is to lower the debt burden on government. Again, government is pursuing a tightening fiscal policy and monetary policy. They have reduced the monetization of the budget deficits, and government is prioritizing in the budget. They have prioritized the agri sector, local production. They have provided some incentives and reliefs for local entrepreneurs. And so all this cumulatively is going to give us some stability and some level of growth. I think the government of Ghana, through the finance ministry, they were measured in their growth projection. That's why when some people were saying that the growth projections were too low or too small, I didn't agree with that, because when you are doing tightening fiscal and monetary policies, when you are doing debt exchange program, you do not expect your GDP growth to rise that fast. But the IU is saying that we might go beyond the 2.8%, around 4% next year, which is fantastic. But obviously, we know why we are not likely to get to the pre-pandemic levels of 5%, 6%, 7%. We all know. And the reasons are what I've mentioned already. So the stability that the IMF program, together with the tightening fiscal monetary policy, is giving us, i.e., a stable exchange rate. The city has been stable. The depreciation has been around 6% this year. Inflation is trending downwards. It is expected to reach 15% by the end of next year. So all this stability, cumulatively, together with the government's growth strategy, are going to help us stable the economy, grow the economy, and create the net jobs that Ghanaians will all crave for. So it is good news, and we must continue in our efforts.
And despite the optimism expressed by both ratings agency and, of course, economic watchers, they are concerned about African countries feeling the financial squeeze created by the excessive debt and heavy repayment burden on 2024, which Ghana is, of course, no exception, right?
Yeah, the African economies have suffered from the global financial architecture, in a sense that we go to borrow at a high cost. Ghana has saved its heritage fund and is earning us about 2% interest rate, yet we go to the same market to borrow at 9%. So African economies or developing economies have always been at a disadvantage in the global financial architecture. And this is why the President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, was saying that they should rather try and give us some concessions or give us loans at a lower rate. And then now Ghana is calling for external debt restructuring, which they should listen to us and help African economies get out of the debt trap. And then beyond that, going forward, I think that the onus lies on us. We also have a role to play as Africans to mobilize resources domestically and not always develop the appetite for borrowing. We should try and mobilize resources domestically, and these are all things that we have to do internally. If you track the data from 2006, our public debt has increased by 9,000%, almost 10,000%. Meanwhile, the domestic revenue has increased by just 3,000%. So we have the appetite for borrowing as against looking inward for our revenue. And now we are at a tight corner, and I think that we should all come home and mobilize our own resources, take advantage of the natural resources. I've always mentioned the natural resources because it's giving us a lot of money, and yet the Ghanaian person or Ghana government doesn't own the natural resources. We produce gold of 6.4 billion, crude oil of 5.6 billion. Next year, we're going to produce lithium of 6.6 billion, and all these amounts are in dollars. Together, we are talking about close to just $20 billion, only three commodities, $20 billion. And how much do we own as Ghanaians or Africans? Just less than 30%. Everything else is repatriated. So we have to really look at the natural resource and own it. And when we own it, we will get the resources that we need. And when we have the resources, it will slow down our rate of borrowing from either the domestic market or the external market. And the debt burden going forward will not be too huge on us. And we'll all be able to transform our economies to create jobs. All that Ghanaians are looking for is to expand the economy and create the net jobs. And I think that Ghana is on the right path. We will get there. All African economies will get there. But the debt trap, we should get out of it first.
All right, so with this prediction coming from EIU and, of course, Fitch Solutions, what message or indication do you think this sends to our investors, especially external creditors for that matter, bearing in mind for some time now we've been crowded out of the capital market?
Positive signals, positive signs for Ghana is a good news for the Ghanaian economy. Hopefully, we'll be able to return to the market and not just borrow at a higher cost, but borrow at a lower cost. Because our yield curve, wasn't positive for some time now. I'm sure with this announcement and with these all signals, we'll have a positive yield curve. And then we can also have some investments. The Tourism Authority is talking about beyond a year of return. We want to extend our hands to foreign investors to come and invest in our economies. I think GIPC is also doing their bit to, call more investors into the economy. So these are positive signals that we can send to not just to be able to return to the external market, but also to invite investors to come and invest in our economy in every aspect of the economy, from tourism to sports to agri to industry to manufacturing to the service sector. Every single aspect of the economy, we extend a hand to them for them to come and help us, develop our country, come and invest here. And these are good news, and I'm happy that Joy News, you are carrying out good news, because for some time now, you always hear bad news from other media stations, and these are positive stories that should be carried out, and I commend you for bringing this news out and asking me to comment on it. I'm so happy today as a Ghanaian.
Indeed, we are also happy to have you on. Thanks so much, Dr. Owusu-Sarkodie. He's an economist speaking to us on the back of that projection by EIU and, of course, Fitch Solutions. Let's stay a while longer on issues that has to do with the economy. This time around at the Bank of Ghana, well, it's concerned with the involvement of bank staff involved in financial sector fraud. This has led to the implementation of many measures on ethics by the central bank in collaboration with stakeholders in order to maintain sanity in the sector. Speaking on behalf of the governor at the 60th Anniversary Banking and Ethics Conference in Accra, Director of Ethics and Internal Investigations at the Central Bank, Dr. Bernard Otabil, hinted that although there is a reduction in fraud cases, it remains a top concern for the banking sector. The conference, which is expected to deal with issues of ethics and professionalism in the banking industry, follows a growing number of misconduct in the financial sector by a certain group of people. According to the Bank of Ghana, a single case of fraud involving an employee of a bank or any financial institution affects the whole industry and weakens public confidence in the industry. Director of Ethics and Internal Investigations at the Central Bank, Dr. Bernard Otabil, was speaking on behalf of the governor, said the drop in numbers of fraud cases last year means more work needs to be done to curb the menace.
The bank's SDIs and PSP's fraud reports that the Bank of Ghana issues yearly give strong signals that our focus on ethics and internal behavior should be strengthened. Although the 2022 bank's SDI and PSP's fraud report showed a decline in staff involvement in fraud cases to 188 in 2022 from 278 in 2021, the persistence of these unethical acts among employees of banks and SDIs remain a concern. As reported, most of the incidents involving bank staff had to do with cash theft, that is, cash suppression from customers, and fraudulent withdrawals on account of customers.
The Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana used the occasion to launch a new curriculum for industry players on ethics and professionalism. Robert Jato is the chief executive of the institute.
So we are actually on the path of redefining professionalism and reprofessionalizing our industry. So your question is, how does that play into ethics? You see that we are putting a huge focus on ethics and ethical conduct. And so our expectation is that these two programs or three programs that we've launched would actually get bankers to do the right thing even when no one is watching. And we expect that this will be measured, it will be recognized, and will feed into the performance, because what gets measured gets done.
Meanwhile, President of the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, Benjamin Amenume, expects the new curriculum to boost the professionalism of members.
Because at the end of the day, it will help the industry, because our core job is to educate the bankers very well to be able to perform effectively. And you know about our theme for today, redefining professionalism through ethics. So ethics is very core to survival of our industry. So we expect that bankers will embrace and then progress with this course.
The Banking and Ethics Conference is under the theme, Redefining Professionalism in Banking Through Ethics. You're still watching Business Life. We've got more stories for you after this break. Hello, welcome back to Business Life. Now, the Ghana Free Zones Authority has signed a 1.6 million euro grant agreement with the GIZ in Germany to enhance the water and sewage system at the port processing zone. The deal, which falls under GIZ's Facility Investing for Employment, is to aid industrial companies within the Tema Enclave to meet the current water demand. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the Free Zones Authority, Mike Okwe, his outfit is working on leveraging the services sector to create jobs within the economy.
For the construction of a new water storage facility composed of an underground tank, an overhead tank, as well as a pumping station. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Ambassador Mike Okwe Jr. said this will improve customer service and productivity of the Tema Enclave companies.
We are looking at about 20,000 jobs because Ghana as a country, apart from industry, we also want to focus on services because these services are offered mainly in the mining sector abroad. So there's a company based here, but they offer mining services in Burkina Faso and so on and so forth. And maybe the oil and gas. So they are here, they provide the bunkering services, all the rest of it abroad, but they are located in Ghana, will make you a free zone company. As well as business process outsourcing, where you are in Ghana, but servicing industry in Germany, America, or any other country. This is very prevalent in India and Philippines. And as a former ambassador myself to India for 4 years, is one of the things I learned.
Managing Director of the Facility Investing for Employment, Stephen Carl, said the GIZ is poised to support the creation of jobs in Ghana.
That our institution we're not done yet. We just started, just as you just started with this development. By the end of next year, we will we can see a pipeline already of projects that were proposed in Ghana of more than 50 million euros. That is a total of 9 projects coming up. Probably not all of them will be approved, but if only half of them is approved, this is a massive step forward, a big success for us, a big success for you, and I think that at some point we will also see tenants of such industrial zone receiving grants from IFE, and this is exactly what we're aiming at. We want to support full supply chains, let's say, and vertical integration of companies.
The facility is committed to contributing 90% of the investment, amounting to over €1 million, while Ghana Free Zones Authority will cover the remaining 10% of the investment.
And one story we are learning this very moment, Parliament has approved $800 million cocoa syndicated loan for Cocoa Board to purchase cocoa from farmers. Now, speaking during the consideration of an $800 million facility to purchase cocoa from farmers, Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Brian Champon, attributed the losses to Cocoa Board's commitment in the road sector and also payments to keep the lights on. And we shall bring you more updates in our subsequent bulletins on that. You're still watching Business Live here with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Now, as the 2023 Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair draws closer, one of its exhibitors, Lest Fortunes Limited, is promising mouth-watering discounts on all of its products for both existing and potential customers. Now, Less Fortune, which are into interior design, prides itself on delivering outstanding quality designs for leading clients across the country. To this end, the firm says it is offering a 10% discount on all of its wares at this year's Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair at the Accra International Conference Center. Here's more. For the past 15 years, Less Fortune Limited has been striving to make unique designs for both interior and exterior works for its clients. In light of this, the decor firm says it is leaving no stone unturned at this year's Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair, thus promising a 10% discount on all of its products, ranging from home lighting, blind designs, floor planning, as well as quality design curtains for both existing and potential clients who will visit the exhibition stand. Lilia Hajima Nafra is the CEO of Less Fortune Limited.
We're going to be bringing new additions. We're going to showcase remote-controlled curtains. We are going to showcase prefabricated homes, which are affordable. You know, in the past, they will say that, oh, a house is not like something that when you're moving, you can just fold it up and go. But we dare say that this one, you should try it. We are very mindful of what is happening, you know, around us and around the world. War in Russia, COVID, so it's affected people's purchasing power. And so we are very affordable if it comes to things like that. We are going to be given a 10% discount. It is Christmas. Wow. And Christmas, everybody's nice. Yeah. So this Christmas, Lesh is a Father Christmas. Okay. We will be giving very, very good discounts. 10% on finishing, on curtains, a huge one. So they should just expect, they should come and see what we are offering and the discounts we enjoy.
She tells us the Habitat Fair has over the years provided them with a unique opportunity to reach out to their cherished clients who have now become part of their business.
Joy FM is a good partner. Your listeners are discerning, and it's a great market. And so we got on board because we knew that it was a great platform to reach a certain number of class of clients.
Lilia Hajima Nafra is the CEO of Less Fortunes there. And that's it for the bulletin. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.